10th of March 2019, a moment very early in the morning that very nearly cost me everything. I'm going to be opening up and talking to you guys about exactly why every single minute of your life counts. Hey guys, how you doing? It's me. Good to see you. So, I want to open up about something that happened 2 years ago today. That very nearly cost me my life. And just how much I had to work my way up from the bottom to get where I am today. This is a pure example of why suicide should never, ever, ever be the answer. So December 2018 then. At this time, I was in the closing stages of a relationship. And all because of depression and anxiety that mounted on top of me out of absolutely nowhere, causing the relationship to end. Because of other reasons as well, but I will not be revealing them out of pure respect purposes. And this one moment where I'd been out for the weekend and I come home and the X Factor final was on, and Take That were on stage performing an extravaganza of Shine and a song called Everything Changes. Now Robbie Williams was a judge and he stood up and sang with the rest of the band, and it brought a whole new level to me. It brought self-confidence and all that, and it was fantastic. It came to the point where whenever I went out, wherever I drove anywhere, or whenever I walked anywhere, this song was playing full blast, whether it was in my ear, in an earphone, or whether it was just in my car full blast. But there was a guarantee that when I returned home from wherever I'd been, my throat was sore, so I could barely speak. So that's how much it changed me around. So February 2019 came and I was in a bad way. I was shaking all the time. I was full of anxiety. I was very, very nervous. I didn't know what to make of myself. I was upset the majority of the time. I was isolating myself. I didn't want to be around anybody. And I drank a bit. March 2019 came. So the 9th of March came, and me and 3 friends had gone out for some drinks in Sheffield. A lot of drinks. So I'll admit now it was a very dangerous move because it was, I'll explain in a minute. So about 2 a.m. I'm absolutely smashed, and because I'd had a bit of a drink problem already, I had drank a number of Sambuca shots in a row, quite a few, and after that I could barely walk, so I had my arms round all 3 of my friends. We got in this taxi and I just fell asleep straight away. So I woke up on final approach into Worksop, and as soon as I wake up, I'm sick in this paper bag, and this paper bag just splits and it goes all over the taxi floor and all over my friends and all that. It was funny at the time. When this was happening, it was kind of funny in a weird way. So we asked the driver to pull over and we ran, because we'd spent all this money in Sheffield. We paid the driver for the taxi journey obviously, but not for the extreme level of sickness in the car. So we got out and we ran. So after things had calmed down a little bit, after a few seconds, we were walking the last 10 minutes of our journey back home. So it came to this point. So at this very point, I'm very drunk. I can barely speak. I can barely see. And I've got mounts and amounts of ridiculous thoughts of anxiety. I'm shaking, my leg was shaking, I was scratching all over the place, I was uncomfortable, I was very upset in my head, but I wasn't showing it. And I thought, what's the fucking point? My first thought was, what is the fucking point at all? So I turned around and I saw a blue Suzuki Swift on approach on this road. So I was stood next to the road, and bearing in mind how drunk I was and how much I was thinking and all that, I just had a head full of ridiculous thoughts of things I really, really did not want to do. But it came to this moment, and the decision I took was to jump in front of this car, and I did. I jumped in front of this car when it was just a few inches away, only for one of my closest friends to grab me by the collar a few inches away from this car and pull me back. If it was not for this moment of being pulled back from one of my closest friends, I would not be sitting here right now, 100%. At that point, my decision was made. My decision was, fuck it, I'm going to end it. That's it. No more. But, obviously, things weren't very nice to be handling at this time. I was covered in sick. I just attempted to kill myself. Wow. And it came to a few days later when I'd had a bit of time to think to myself, and I came across a organisation called Insight Care. These are the people, and I thought, well, brilliant. I'm gonna, because I knew at the time I needed this help. So I pressed the link and I organised for a few meetings. So I had a 4-hour phone call on the phone with a specialist mental health nurse. And it was nice. It was nice to let all my feelings out. And after this, I organised a few meetings to meet up with a specialist doctor. So I was put on a waiting list, and after a few weeks, I was then told that I was going to be having 6 meetings, which would be the final 6 meetings, which they said would be guaranteed to turn me around. So I went to this first meeting. I pulled up in my car, I got out, I could barely walk, I could barely see anything because I'd got that much of a headache with everything that was going on. I was scratching all over the place, I was itching, I was a bit upset, I had all these thoughts in my head. I was just a complete mess. So I walked into this room an absolute mess. And after just 6 weeks, I walked out of that building for the final time after 6 sessions of one-on-one meetings with this one woman in this room. I was a completely changed man. I couldn't believe the transition, and to this day I always thank them. Every time I think about it, I always have a moment to thank them. So if you are suffering from mental health, please click the link in the description below and obviously get help, because these guys will honestly give you a meaning in life. You will always have a meaning in life, but when you think in your head that you don't, these guys will always remind you 110% that you have something to live for. And these guys did. And I still talk to the woman that gave me the meetings. and I thank her all of the time. So if you're watching this, thank you very much. I really appreciate what you did for me. I really do. So I'd turned myself around and I wanted to get a job, a proper job with good earning money, and I did. So I applied for Amazon. You may have already known from previous videos that I've done. I applied for Amazon and I got this job. And when I got this job, I felt insane. I felt fantastic. I felt incredible, huge amounts of self-confidence and self-belief. It was like I had a whole wall right behind me of all these amazing feelings that I were feeling. And all of a sudden, I didn't let anybody talk down to me. I didn't let anybody talk rubbish about me. Everybody just began to get along with me. And everybody began to realise just how much of a transition I had made. And I felt amazing because, as well, prior to the suicide attempt, I'd also had a few people messaging me saying that they wanted me dead anyway. Purely because they were either keyboard warriors or 19-year-old teenagers that were sitting behind a computer full with a face of pimples and didn't have anything better to do with their lives, or just prior because they hadn't spoken to me for 5 years. They were the reasons. But anyway, I turned around and I proved all these people wrong. Even, it was such an amazing feeling. And after a few weeks, I got my blue car, and that car made me realise just how much of a transition I have made to myself. So you can make any journeys in this lifetime. You can go from a suicide attempt right to the top of having the best job in the world and having the best people around you. So that it's always possible. Just never give up that hope, because there is always an opportunity for you to make a name for yourself. Whether you're a fan of me or not, whether we get along or not, whether we talk or not, just remember there is always an opportunity for you to make a name for yourself. You might have already done it and you might not have. But even if you're already at the top, there's always room for you to go even higher. Personally, I prefer the route of working your way up from the bottom, as I've experienced myself. First in 2019, it came to October 2020, and I decided to leave this job because I had to help somebody out. And at the time, my mindset was, shit, I need to prove these people wrong again. I need to prove that I am not going to be on my bones again, waiting for something to happen. And I didn't. I ended the year very, very strong, but my biggest mistake was turning on my friends. They forgave me, but they said to me they didn't need to forgive me. They're good friends. They were always going to be supporting me. So again, thank you guys, really appreciate it. There are one or two people that didn't appreciate the choice that I made for myself. And again, I realised my mistake and I stopped. So I reapplied to go back to Amazon and I got the job. So again, I'm right now feeling that very same feeling of self-belief, confidence, happiness, a full wall of just utter brilliantness and all that. And I feel on top again. Nobody talks down to me anymore. Everybody gets along with me. It's just brilliant. and I can't thank you enough. I can't thank the people enough that have been there for me for 2 years throughout this journey. Every time I see these 3 guys, I just constantly appreciate. I give them all the appreciation in the world because they know who they are. And if it weren't for them, I simply wouldn't be here. So again, there's always opportunity for you to make a big name for yourself. You just have to show that little bit of effort and determined to work. Don't just expect to be taken by a hand and put right at the top. That's not going to happen. You've got to work for what you want to happen. That's what I wanted to say, guys. So that's my message to you guys. If you feel as low as I did, so just a complete mess, depressed, upset, nervous, what's going to happen? Shit, what's going to happen? Is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? Just do what you can to turn this around. Just dig in, do whatever you've got to do to get yourself back on top, or get to the top. It's always possible, and if you can do it like I did, then you can. Again, I'm gonna leave the link for Insight Care down below in the description. Please click it, guys. These guys get an incredible amount of appreciation, and they get double that from me, because they are responsible for what they've done for me. So again, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed what I had to say. And again, feel free to click the link down below. While I'm here as well, daily uploads. That went well. No, I've been, you know, as I said, I've returned to Amazon, so I've got a lot of work going on. So I'll be posting videos again. Don't worry. But for now, thank you very, very much for listening. I really appreciate it. If you've made it all the way through the full video, then I really appreciate it. Thank you. Even if you haven't, just thank you for watching the video. It means a lot to me, and it just makes me know that you've acknowledged that it's always possible to turn things around. So, thank you very much, guys. Thank you for listening. Take care. See you later.